Welcome back to Keynotes. Today we will be building off of our previous lesson. In the first half of this video, we will be learning how to apply note reading to the keyboard. In the second half, we will be learning the 5 types of accidentals or altered notes. Let's begin. Previously, we had a lesson in which we learned about the staff and different types of clefs. But how do we relate these lines and spaces and notes to the piano keyboard? Every line and space in our staff has a different letter name. We read the notes by knowing which line or space corresponds with which letter name. In application to the piano, every line and space has its own corresponding key on the keyboard. The letter names are then repeated up and down the keyboard in the same way they are repeated up and down the staff. A very useful note for you to know is middle C. Middle C acts as a constant guidepost, especially for children or beginners. Middle C provides us with a measure of security. As long as you know where middle C is, you can more easily find your way around the keyboard. Why is this note called middle C anyway? Middle C is the note which connects our grand staff, which is the treble clef and the bass clef. Middle C is also the middle line of the alto clef. And of course, it is the key which is in the middle of our keyboard. Now, if middle C is so important, how can we easily find it? First, take note of the alternating pattern of 2 black keys and 3 black keys on the keyboard. Now that you see this pattern, memorize this tip. The note C is always found to the left of 2 black keys. Repeated, the note C is always found to the left of the 2 black keys. You will normally find middle C roughly in the center of the piano, and under the manufacturer's name, and again consistently to the left of 2 black keys. We treat the rest of the letter names the same as reading them on the staff: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then C again. This 7-letter name or note pattern is then repeated up and down the keyboard. Now that we have learned how to find our way around the keyboard, let's turn our attention to these signs called accidentals. There are 3 common accidentals, and then there are 2 accidentals which are less frequently used. It is vital that you understand the difference between a half step and a whole step before we proceed. A half step goes directly to the next key on the keyboard. There will be no other key in between, whether black or white. A whole step, on the other hand, is a movement in which there will always be 1 key in between your starting note and your ending note, also regardless of the color. Let us now learn our common accidentals and apply this whole step and half step idea. A flat is 1 half step down from the original note. So we see here, if you want an E flat, or let's say an A flat, you would go to the key that is a half step down from our original note. With sharps, instead of going a half step down, we go a half step up from the original. Our example here is C sharp and F sharp. As you can see, we merely went to the key which is a half step up. So flats always go down, and sharps always go up. Now the function of a natural sign is that it cancels out a flat or a sharp, or even the 2 less commonly used accidentals, from either a preceding note or even from our key signature. Now, it is important to note here that accidentals, or flats or sharps, etc., are not limited to black keys. White keys can be accidentals too. For example, F flat. It's an accidental, but located on a white key, not a black key. Moving on to our infrequent accidentals, we have our double flat, which is 2 half steps or 1 whole step down from our original note. And we have our double sharp, which is 2 half steps or 1 whole step up from our original note. Thinking about accidentals as half steps and whole steps, either up or down the keyboard, will save you a lot of time and confusion when you try to play a musical piece in the future. Let's now close out our lesson with a very quick recap. First, for middle C, every letter, name, or note has a corresponding key on the piano. Second, you can find C to the left of 2 black keys. Remember, middle C can be used as our guidepost in order to locate all other keys. And middle C is found in the center of the keyboard, usually beneath the manufacturer's name. Now for our accidentals recap. Our 3 common accidentals are sharps, flats, and naturals. Flats are 1 half step down from the original note, and sharps are 1 half step up from the original note. Naturals cancel out other accidentals, whether from a preceding note or in the key signature. And our 2 less common accidentals, the double flat and the double sharp. Double flat, which is 2 half steps or 1 whole step down from the original note, and the double sharp being 2 half steps or 1 whole step up from the original note. And that brings us to the end of lesson 2. Hopefully you enjoyed, and most of all, hopefully you learned some valuable information about music that you can use. We shall see you soon in our next lesson.